Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk about anxiety. I wanted to talk about my struggles with it and the things that I have learnt to do to minimise and almost completely get rid of this problem that I've had my whole life. And I wanted to just share that for anybody else that was maybe struggling and going through the same things I have been. I probably realised I had anxiety when I was maybe around 19 or 20. That's when I really started to realise that maybe I had a bit of an issue. Looking back, I definitely started struggling with this from a much younger age, but at the time I had no idea what this was or if it was unnatural or anything like that. So around 19 or 20, I had to fly a lot during that time, back and from the United States to England, and I definitely experienced very strong panic attack symptoms before these flights. And sometimes I would drink alcohol to try and mask these feelings or just try to ignore it and just deal with it. And it could be pretty stressful. It was a pretty stressful ordeal because I didn't quite understand what was going on with me because I'd had it for such a long time. I just didn't realise it was anything different or strange. It was very confusing. So I never really said anything. I just tried to muddle through. So during that time the flights were very stressful and I'll be very panicked and very stressed. I also started to notice my issues were getting worse when I was in a store shopping one day and I came over really hot and sweaty, pure classic panic attack symptoms, and ended up practically passing out in the store. And this was when I realised that, okay, this is pretty bad. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. And I think that this passing out episode was what definitely made the panic and the anxiety a little worse after that, because I think a lot of panic attack people, if they have an attack, they're constantly worrying about having another attack, which can also make your anxiety worse. So I found some ways that I tried to deal with this. It will be a mind over matter thing with me. Despite my anxiety, I am a very strong-minded person and I do have a strong will, so I was able to take these moments and push through them. It was difficult for me, but I was able to do it, and that did get my confidence up a little bit. I did some research online and realised, and there were some tips and tricks on what to do, like if you get anxious, start getting excited about something, or control your breathing. Those were things that I was definitely using, and they would definitely help during these times, but it wouldn't minimise the amount of times I was having to do this. So the problem was still there, but there was definitely mental and behavioural things I could do during these attacks or thoughts that would make the symptoms a lot less strong, if that makes sense. So I was coping with it that way. Then, very recently, I went through a very stressful time in my life. I'm not going to go into details on here, but it was extremely stressful, and for about a year I was struggling with some pretty strong anxiety. I mean, this was strong. It was a case of as soon as I woke up, I had a deep, sick, anxious feeling. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, it made me depressed, like it was very strong. And this was definitely a time when I thought, you know what, this isn't right, I can't be living like this, I can't go on like this, I've definitely got to make a change. And it was around this time I started to, I don't know if it was my symptoms making me want to take control of my life. I made some lifestyle changes that I think that I made these changes subconsciously. I don't think I realised that they would help me with my anxiety, but I think it was my anxiety that pushed me to make these changes, if that makes sense. So anyway, let's get into these changes. I've been waffling on for a while. So the first thing that I did that made a big impact on me was definitely becoming a vegan. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who suffers from anxiety needs to become a vegan, because you don't have to just do that to get rid of this. I'm just sharing my journey, and it's definitely worked for me. When I stopped eating meat and dairy, which are very acidic foods, I definitely noticed a change in my mental state. I was eating a lot more alkalizing vegetables like kale and greens and things like that, and I definitely noticed a major shift in my moods around this time. Now, there is a lot of research online about how your diet can affect your mental state. This is no secret. When I noticed these changes, it didn't take me long to find the research to back up my changes. So definitely look into this. Quickly, the reason why changing my diet has helped so much is because the acidity in these foods, the proteins and the types of foods they are, And also a lot of the hormones in the meat and the milk and stuff can definitely make your body go haywire for sure. Just giving up these foods was night and day for my anxiety. I definitely found it easier to control my symptoms. So even though that was done, I believe that there was a little bit of mental damage from suffering from anxiety for so long. I definitely did get more panicky, and I was anxious about getting anxious, if that makes sense. Because I've been suffering from anxiety for so long, if I think a situation's going to be stressful, I worry more about the feelings I'm going to get than I was the actual situation. So I definitely had to start looking into meditation and things that can definitely keep my mind on the straight and narrow. So I researched this as well, and I discovered a technique called mindfulness. Now there are a lot of things, there's meditation and there's all kinds of things like this, and they all are very helpful. But the thing that I practice the most and I find most convenient and works for me is mindfulness, but I have kind of a quick economical way that I do this. So what I will do is, if I'm in a situation where I feel myself start getting stressed, I will pull myself back from all of these thoughts from the future and thoughts from the past and just sit for a moment in the present. Now, this can happen like today. In the car, I practiced this. I started getting stressed about a situation. It was something silly, like we were going to hit traffic and I had some stuff to do at the bank and I could feel myself getting a little stressed. So I just pulled myself back, and I was sitting in the passenger seat of our vehicle and my husband was driving, and I just put myself in the now. I was sitting there, I was happy, I was a little hungry, and I was looking forward to getting a Jamba Juice later on. But we were happy, the sun was shining, I had my husband next to me, I was living, I was breathing, time was good. At that moment in time, it was good, I was okay. Nothing was bad, I was okay, I was living and breathing, it was fine. And when you pull yourself back from those stressful situations and all these things, because your mind has a tendency to worry about what's going to happen, and it never plays out the way you think it's going to be. Your mind has a tendency of running forward, or you'll be worrying about the past. It is crazy how your mind does this, but you just need to pull yourself back and just be in the present for a few seconds. It can take a while to get this done. It's taken me maybe 6 months to really perfect this, but it definitely works. So far we've got my diet changes and also the mindfulness. And the third thing I'm going to talk about, all these things have had an equal impact on my life for sure, is I've discovered minimalism. This may sound extreme for a lot of people. I'm talking about veganism and minimalism all in one video. I get that. These are things that you should just look into and see if they're right for you. But these are definitely right for me. So with minimalism, basically, I have scaled down a lot of my possessions. A lot of the things in my life, I've scaled back to only the things that bring me joy and the things that I really need. Now, living in modern day society, you can get caught up in this consumerism rat race. You're just working to buy. And I was definitely in this situation. We would work a lot, we would stress about money because we'd need to pay for a lifestyle. And you know, your lifestyle is important, right? You want to make sure that you're keeping up with the neighbours, you're keeping up with everybody's aspirations that they might have for you. You seem to get caught up, I know I did, and I know a lot of people can, get caught up with living your life for other people. And it's very difficult to admit this at first, of course. I mean, it's your whole life, it's everything you do. But I definitely realised that what people thought about me played a big part in my actions. So you need to really take a look at your life and really wonder how much of your life you are living for you. But I will definitely touch more on minimalism in a different video, because I could run on for hours about this and my reasons for doing this, but there's something that I definitely did do. So if you are suffering from anxiety, I do strongly recommend that you look into your diet, see how much of your diet you can clean up. I'm not saying go full vegan. I mean, if you want to give it a try for a few months and see how you go, I'm all for it. But at least clean up your diet a little bit. If you're finding that you're eating really bad, you're eating a lot of these foods that can cause anxiety, and you're not getting enough greens, that could be part of the problem. And then I would recommend that you look into mindfulness and meditation. Just keeping yourself in the present. If you're somebody that definitely has a problem with their mind wandering off and worrying about every little detail in the future, that can be a problem. And then thirdly, minimalism. Definitely research this. That has definitely helped me the most, is the minimalism. What I'm going to do is right now I'm going to sign off this video, and then I'm going to do a video for each of these points that I've said. That way I can go into a lot more detail as well. So if you're interested in any of these points a little further from me, I will definitely post the links below to these videos. And I really do wish you the best on your journey, and please know that no matter how bad your anxiety is, you can get better, you can beat this, you can control this. I didn't think I could, and I am. I'm beating it and I'm controlling it, and I'm 100% confident you can too. Okay, so you have a lovely, happy day, and I will see you guys next time. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.